with authority. Aloha!
Welcome to the most musclesome podcast in Bay Area sports. Welcome to ABC7 Sports.
With authority.
We have yet another big guest today.
The Ghost.
Robert the Ghost Guerrero, Gilroy's own.
I had no idea that he was actually back boxing again. I thought he was retired.
He was retired. He's back. He's 2-0 since returning, and he's ready to go.
And he's got another big fight coming up,
Staples Center this Saturday.
All right, we'll hear from the Ghost coming up, but we got to talk. There's so much stuff happening. This is the time that you get this convergence with everything happening at the same time. The Warriors are about to embark on a whole new experience in a whole new building with a whole new team. 49ers, maybe we undersold them with our preseason picks. They're 3-0, but are they for real? I think we know what the Raiders are. They're in trouble. They're on a road. They might as well play games in like Antarctica at this point. They're all over the map for the next month or so. A little stressful, I think, for Casey Pratt, Mr. Green and Gold underwear with the A's coming down the stretch in the wild card. Imagine if they don't make it after all of this. They're up 2 games.
I'm going to wait to retort because I know you have more to do.
Okay, all right.
Once you're done, I will fire back.
A salute to Boch. I can't believe it's the final week. I mean, all season long, we know that Bruce Bochy's final year. Presumed anyway. Now there's this talk, hey, the Padres have an opening. He has a house in San Diego. Would he? Might he?
No, he will not.
He's not. No, I know
retiring.
He's not. I know the rumor, Bob Guerin supposedly in the mix.
That would
just,
be a great idea.
Talking about underwhelming. I read that. You sent that text to me, and I was like,
I said this months ago on the podcast.
Can I go back to sleep? I don't want to have to respond to this. So I don't know what Farhan's got going on or where that was leaked or how that information was ascertained, but I hope the list of candidates is somewhat better than that.
All right, rapid fire. Niners halfway to my prediction of 6 wins with 3 already. We'll get to that. Are they real?
Yeah.
Raiders, mess. A's, not yet nervous about wild card, but you should be nervous because the magic number for the Meatball Madness bet is 1. The Giants lose or the A's win, and Larry is eating 24 inches of meatball sub right here on this podcast. And Bochy, one of the classiest guys to ever don a baseball uniform. I mean, we're really blessed with Bob Melvin and Bruce Bochy here, but it's crazy that he's hanging it up for real, and he's not going to the Padres.
It's going to be so strange just looking at the Giants without Boch. And everybody does a Bochy impersonation. We always do it on the, Bummer's out there. And that's, but it's going to be whoever they pick, whoever takes over. And you don't know, they have so many decisions to make in the off season, what that team is going to look like. It's so fascinating. We could do hours and hours and hours just on what the Giants might look like, position by position, which we're not going to do on this podcast.
Not right now.
Not yet.
Not with Robert the Ghost Guerrero coming up. We have a limited time frame, and we can just wait for the season to end, and we can rehash all that while you eat 24 inches of meatball sub right here on this podcast.
You keep mentioning that for some specific reason.
Happening.
Are you willing to revise your Niner pick now? Because they're 3-0. I thought they would win 7 games. What's funny is that everybody overreacts. I mean, They could easily be 1-2. They could have easily lost if the Bucs were decent at off. Jameis Winston wasn't gifting interceptions. They could have lost that game. If Big Ben is playing for the Steelers, I definitely think they would have lost last weekend. And what's odd about the schedule is we are thinking, okay, well, this is a win, this is a loss, this is a win, this is a loss. They've got the bye week, and they've got some injuries to deal with, so it actually comes at a good time, even though it's this early. But you're looking at the Browns, and you thought coming in, the Browns are going to be really good.
There's a lot of hype around the Browns.
The Browns are terrible.
They're not good.
And they don't appear to be particularly well coached at this point.
No.
With Freddie, your kitchen. So maybe that's another win there. I mean, look, you can only play the teams that are on your schedule, so they're taking advantage of what's out there. When the Browns eventually do figure it out, if they figure it out, they could be a problem for people because you look at their roster and you go, wow, these guys should be rolling people. But then after that, at Rams, then you got the Redskins who are a hot mess.
Yeah.
So they may be on their way to 6 or 7 wins very early in this regular season.
Yeah, I mean, I had them at 6. You had them at 7, like you said. But when I looked at the schedule and I made that prediction, I did have them winning those first 2 games. So I had already accounted for them winning those first 2. The game that I did not have them accounted for winning was the Steelers game. And as you mentioned, as ugly as they played in that game, that was a Steelers team that was playing without their starting quarterback in Big Ben. So I don't think they would have won that game. They did, though. So they're 3-0.
Yeah, no,
we give them credit.
Yeah, you have to.
Obviously, the Niners with Jimmy Garoppolo as a starter are a winning team. They have been ever since he came here, and he got hurt last year, so you throw that out the window. But I don't know if they're like the most real 3-0 right now to me.
Well, let's put it this way.
You know.
When you look at what the Patriots do week in and week out and what the Chiefs do week in and week out, the Niners are nothing close to that in my estimation.
They're getting by.
So, yeah, I mean, if you can find ways to win, nobody cares at the end of the season how you get your W. You just got to get them. But they do not resemble in any way the juggernauts that those two teams in the AFC represent. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Injuries are a big factor, but so far so good for the Niners. You're not at all worried about the A's. I mean, coming down the stretch. So you see them winning a wild card game?
I think they are set up to be a team that can win a wild card game more so than in the past. Because you look at last season, they win in there against the Yankees in New York, road game. And their best option was probably Mike Fiers at that point, who you probably don't want pitching in a elimination game in New York because he's more of a fly ball pitcher. Yeah. So I don't really think that they were set up very well going into that game. They ended up going bullpenning, which was just a ballsy approach in a one-game playoff.
It was a terrible approach.
It didn't work out great, but they started Liam Hendricks in that game, and look what he's done this year. He's been amazing.
Yeah, except that was last year.
Exactly. I'm just saying. It had worked in some form. It was a crazy thing to do in a one-game playoff, which I hate, by the way. We can get into that, too. One-game playoffs in baseball
after you play 162,
I
know.
Man.
But the last thing we need is another.
Make it 3 at least.
Well, anyway.
One game doesn't tell you which team is the best in baseball. Any team on any day can win in baseball. One game. Come on. Anyways. The A's now have better options. They have great arms right now in the pen. Jesus Luzardo, A.J. Puck. They should be able to get Luzardo on the playoff roster, especially if Steven Piscotty doesn't come back. Then you have Sean Manaea back and throwing incredibly well. Mike Fiers has bounced back. He's been really good all season. So you have some really good options for that one-game playoff. And also, if you win it, if you don't go Fiers in the wild card, you go game one in the ALDS, and vice versa with Manaea. So not only are they set up to win that playoff game with a very good pitcher, they are also set up for the ALDS as well if they get there. So I like where they're at. I think they're just loaded with pitching, and we'll just see. I mean, the A's in those one-game playoffs, it's been nothing but heartbreakers so far. It's been nothing but heartbreakers. But
where's John Lester when you need him?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. That was a low blow. That was sad. I shouldn't have. Erase that, Leonard.
I don't want John Lester in that game ever again.
Well, you're not going to get him ever again. All right, so let's get to the ghost, shall we?
Let's get to the ghost. And, the reason I really, really wanted to talk to the ghost, obviously one of the nicest guys in the Bay Area sports scene. He's a 6-time champ. He's just a really good guy. And the coolest thing that I saw was he is donating portions of his purse for this fight to the victims of the Gilroy Garlic shooting.
Right.
And so as soon as I heard that, I really thought we should reach out and talk to him. He came in. Unfortunately, you weren't here.
Well, I think I was on one of my many vacations. Sorry.
We called Chris Alvarez, our new sports anchor, out of the pen. He jumped in for the interview. The ghost was fantastic, and we must say, 2-0 after retiring. He's fighting at the Staples Center on Saturday. That'll be September 28th if we're in a time capsule here and you're listening to this some other time. On FS1, so you can watch it on TV. And it's the undercard for the Porter-Spence fight, which is actually a huge fight on pay-per-view. Yeah. So, without further ado, Robert the Ghost Guerrero and his charitable efforts. All right, the champ is here. He's in the house. Robert the Ghost Guerrero, thank you so much for joining us, man. And, I reached out to you because the first time right after the Gilroy Garlic Festival shooting happened, we got sent there to do some coverage, and I immediately thought of you, and it's because you're like Mr. Gilroy. And then,
the garlic?
yeah, we can smell it. No, but what I heard later was, though, that you had family there, and your dad lives right there, so that really hit close to home for you.
Oh, definitely. I was out of town at the time when it happened, and just you get calls because you have family members that are there, even friends, because the thing about Gilroy is there's a lot of old families there. Like my grandparents were there, my father, we grew up there, so everybody knows each other, and you just have a lot of friends and family around. So Gilroy Garlic Festival was like we take pride in it. That's our thing. I mean, that's like a Bay Area thing. Everybody loves to go, and especially for Gilroy residents, it's like, all right, Garlic Festival is coming. Everybody's really hyped up and excited, and then so you're gonna have family, friends there, no matter what. Either the days that it goes on, and I get a call. Hey, I seen on social media so and so's there, this and that, and then you just start freaking out. You hear there's a shooter, and you're just panicking, like, who's there? So you start calling everybody in your family. Are you okay? Or were you at the festival or what? So it's kind of scary.
Who did you know that was there?
I had 2 nieces and a nephew that were there, actually doing. They were volunteering because what happens is the 2 high schools from Gilroy, Christopher High School and Gilroy High School, their kids volunteer to get credit for school to graduate. So that's what they were doing there, and a lot of the cheerleaders, a lot of the athletes have to go and volunteer. So them being there, cleaning up and stuff, doing whatever, working in the booths. I had a niece and 2 nieces and a nephew there. One of my brothers was there, my older brothers, and they were pretty shooken up and freaked out about it. Thank God none of them got injured, but a few family friends and stuff like that, got hit and stuff like that with bullets, and it's tough. It's tough, but man, Gilroy PD did their job and they took care of business. I take my hat off to them and commend them.
Yeah, and I know we wanted to talk to you particularly because your next fight is September 28th, and you're donating proceeds from that fight to the shooting victims. So, I mean, that's an amazing thing that you're doing. I think that's really cool.
Oh, yeah. Just to give back to my community. I was born and raised in Gilroy. They've supported me all through my whole amateur career, professional career, everything, and always been behind me. And, now it's my turn to give back, and to be able to be in that position to donate a portion of my purse to what's going on and to help out people. I mean, it's what we do.
That's nice.
A huge fight for you coming up for the scouting report. We want to know what your thoughts are as you're a couple weeks away from that big fight.
I'm excited. I feel great.
Yeah.
I think I'm right on point where I need to be. Weight, everything. Man, I'm just feeling good. Feel like I'm like I'm about 25 years old again. Everybody says that. I feel good, but I actually feel that. And me, I'm an honest guy with myself, and it's, I'm 36 years old now, and man, I don't feel it. I just feel great. I just needed some time off, and man, I feel good. I just can't wait. We got a couple of weeks to go. I sparred yesterday. Sparring was great. Hardly got touched. Worked all the stuff that I needed to work. Behind my jab. The one thing that I'm doing the most is back to those boxing skills. Mm-hmm. When I got to 147 pounds, I just wanted to be this monster, just go tear everybody up and just bang them out. And rough guy.
Trade some blows.
Yeah. I turned into partial MMA guy. Like, just let's go at it. Mm-hmm. And in the boxing ring, it's the sweet science. And me coming up from 122 pounds to 147. At the lower weights, I was on my game, boxing these guys and, using my jab skills, knocking guys out, slipping and sliding. I was being the ghost. Mm-hmm. The higher I got, the more I wanted to stand there and trade. I think I had like a chip on my shoulder, like, hey, I'm not just a little guy, where I probably had that little man syndrome getting with these big guys. So, it's one of those things that, just spiraled out of control. And man, shoot, I had to get rid of that. I think the time off is what made me realize, sit back and just analyze my fights, watch them, and really break them down and see what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you stepped away from the sport. Like, you retired, right?
Yep,
so
I retired.
What made you really change your mind, and how much do you think that kind of helped clear your head and, like you said, make it more about the mental approach?
I got tired of being retired. No.
Yeah.
No, it was more, just sitting back. I was analyzing for FS1 and doing the ringside, just watching, and then just looking at my films, just seeing how my skills were just diminishing, not because of I'm getting older or I'm losing speed or power or anything like that. It was more just mentally wanting to just get in there and go toe to toe and just I'll take your punch, let's see if you could take mine, and you can't do that. Especially when you're a little guy coming up, that's where your skills got to come more, and you got to really use them. So that's where it's like, man, all right, I'm going to make this second run again for a title or to try to unify the division at the welterweight, get back to that boxing skill. Just focus on just boxing, because everybody knows I can get in there and exchange them, but I just got to bring that boxing back, and that's what I've been doing.
You've obviously come back, but ideally, you don't want to look this far ahead, but ideally, what's the best way to go out in the sunset for you as a boxer?
Unified champ at 147 pounds.
Okay.
I want to clean the division, man. I do want to. I can see it. I can feel it. That fire is just cooking in me right now, and it's just getting back into that position, and it starts, this next fight coming up.
How hard is it to balance like long-term vision with short-term? Like none of this happens if I can't get through September 28th. Like,
you just got to keep it burning, man.
Yeah.
Keep it burning, and that's why you take one fight at a time. You can't overlook anybody, and sometimes you tend to overlook people, and they sneak up and bite you, man. So, this guy right here, we got to focus on him and give him 100% of what we got.
Fighters are some of the most disciplined athletes I've ever met. I offer you some Cheez-Its, and that's a no-go. Yeah, obviously you have to.
Yeah, that's right. When you stay, man, would you like some Cheez-Its?
Like some Cheez-Its. I was trying to be a nice housewarming gift. And
Second round.
But as far as, you have to keep your diet. Everything has to be so in check, and really it's all for one night, whereas football, you have games and practices, basketball, you're playing all the time, baseball. Mm-hmm. Take us inside the mindset of a boxer where you build literally almost a half a year of training for one fight. What is that like for you?
It takes a lot of focus and dedication, Cheez-Its, this, that, everything's coming your way,
I offered him water for the record. Cheez-Its.
But, it's just it's that discipline. It's how much you want it, how much you got that fire burning. It is tough, though, because, us fighters, we got free reins to do what we want, really. When once we train, we go home, and now it comes down to you and how disciplined you are. We don't got that next game like, you watch baseball, they got a 7-game series, and, they lose one game, we'll get it the next one. Or basketball or football like that. Boxing, it's, hey, you lose, you're back down to the bottom of the barrel, and you got to work your way back up. So it's just how much you want it. Your mindset, that focus. It's a mentality where it's got to be the way you live. You go home, you do your thing with the family and everything, you engage with them and do all your stuff. But at the same time, you also got to have that discipline to be like, man, that lasagna looks good, honey. And I'll stick with this, the baked chicken or whatever. You got to have those cheat days though every once in a while, or you'll go nuts. But it's just keeping everything in moderation and check, knowing when to push, when to pull, and that's all. That also goes for training, because we stay in shape all year. Well, I know I do. Yeah. Try to stay in shape all year, so I'm ready to just jump into camp and start sparring, do what I got to do. You got to know when to push, because you can overtrain for a fight where you leave everything in the gym.
Yeah.
And that's where that saying comes: leave the fight in the gym. It's a thing where you can overwork, and your body's just so exhausted, so gassed out, where when you're in the fight, you go like this and just tank. So you got to know, you got to have that balance out, and that's one of the things is having a nice, pretty long career. You're able to use those experiences and be able to know when to push and pull and know your body.
How much does your wife help you? I know you're a family man, and you helped her a lot too in the past, so obviously that puts a lot of things in perspective, because she beat cancer, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, how much does she kind of help you at home and make sure that it's not lasagna being thrown at you all the time?
Yeah. She cooks pretty clean all the time. So, it's the way she was raised also in her family. Her mother always cooked clean and stuff. So, you learn from your mom, and you learn how to cook like that. So, a lot of her recipes are really clean. So, it's good at home. It's good. And then, her beating cancer, what she had to go through, when I look at it, it's like, man, she's fighting for her life. I fight for fun, man. This is what I do. I make money doing it. I love it. Take advantage of it and have fun with it. Be disciplined. Don't get all crazy. Love what you do, and that right there. My wife battling cancer was a big eye opener on just life in general. Like, hey, man, shoot, you get to do what you love to do. Thank God, shoot, So. That right there, that whole fight, and seeing my wife all the time. It's when you see the family, it's like you want to go out there and get it.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of had to step away at that point too.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, and help her out and kind of put your career on hold a little bit. And I mean, how much does what she went through and what your family went through really put things in perspective? Like, you could step into the ring with literally anybody and be like, this is easy compared to that, you know?
Well, for one, I have a whole different outlook on women.
Yeah.
Because when my wife went to the hospital, I mean, I used to just train, run, do my thing, whatever. You know, come home, eat dinner, relax, play with the kids. But when she got sick, I had to do everything she did. I had to pick up all that role, take the kids here, daycare, wash their clothes. Everything that she did, I had to do. And I was just like, wow.
Yeah, it's like, who's the badass now?
Yeah, so like, oh man.
Not
I
you.
thought, and honestly, I thought, man, I work out hard, you know, I train, you know, I deserve to relax at home. But now, experience what she did, it's like, her mother role and taking care of me also, it's like, man, I need to step my game up, man. Shoot, my job ain't that hard. It's like Disneyland compared to what you're going through.
Wow.
Shoot, so yeah, that gave me a whole different outlook on everything, and you know, to appreciate just everything that comes your way, all the opportunity, you know, the blessings that come your way, you know, and just family. It's like, man, that's why, like, when the Guerrero thing happened, you're just like freaking out, like, whoa, you know, who's there, you know, hopefully nobody got injured, and you know, not being able to be around you, it trips you out.
Yeah, it's like, it's quick to put things in perspective, and it helps you realize, like, hey, maybe work is like the easiest part of my day, right?
Yeah, funnest part actually,
Yeah.
man. I go in the gym and beat up the bags, you know, beat up guys in the ring, have fun, listen to music, train, work out, sweat, look good, and it's like, man, it's a privilege.
Yeah, it can't get any better than that.
Where do you think the sport of boxing is with, you obviously have the popularity of UFC and those type of things coming up in the mixed martial arts? Yeah, boxing's a sweet science. Or if you were coming up today, would you be a boxer, or would you want to do maybe the MMA type of fighting?
I would want to be a boxer more than ever right now.
Why is that?
I mean, you look at the deal Al Heyman signed with Fox. It's the biggest deal. It's incredible. All the TV dates. With TV dates, you got that TV revenue. Right now, there's fighters making just crazy money right now. I mean, it's ridiculous right now. I mean, it's amazing. And the welterweight division is like stacked and like smoking hot. It's like, man, it's exciting. So, yeah, I mean, it's I really commend and take my hat off to Al Heyman, because he really cares about the fighters, about them coming up, and that's why we're on network TV now, because, you know, HBO, Showtime, yeah, that's all great. Pay-per-view, yeah, it's great. You know, wow, I'm on HBO or I'm on this. But how many people buy HBO package? How many people buy Showtime package, or even just buy a pay-per-view? Not very many people do that. And, you know, people get together to do that stuff. But now you got fights every week on network TV, on Fox, FS1, FS2, and you know, you sit back, you turn TV on, boxing's on. You're like, oh, that's how you become a household name.
Interesting, yeah.
And with us fighters, I mean, we start from the very, very bottom, where there's millions of fighters out there trying to make a run there's only few titles. Everybody's trying to make the run. You know, you got the UFC. It's just the UFC is a powerhouse. Boxing's boxing, but now you got promoter here, promoter there, managers, this, that, fights all over the place. It's like the Wild West. So, you know, you got a guy like Al Heyman who just goes, hey, well, we're going to take our young fighters out of the Olympics. We're going to take our top champions. We're going to put champion with champion. We're going to do this. We're going to do that, and it's all going to be on free TV. You build your marketability. Guys like Sugar Ray Leonard, you know, Ali, all those guys, Wild World of Sports. That's why they were so big in boxing, is because the average person got to know who they were, and out of sight, out of mind. I mean, if you don't fight on TV, nobody knows who you are. The reason why I developed a big fan base was because I fought a lot on Fox. FS1, you know, coming up in my career, you know, those FS1 fights were amazing, because they showed them over and over and over.
Your next fight too, FS1, right?
My next fight's going to be
September 28th.
FS1 main event, and they're gonna show it over and over. So I mean,
we'll show this over and over too.
Yeah, if you missed it, you're gonna see it.
Yeah.
If you're just watching baseball, boom, boxing's gonna come on. Or you're watching soccer, boxing's gonna come on. So I mean, it's right now is the time to be a professional boxer. And I mean, you guys had like Devin Haney on here, dude. Everybody knows Devin Haney now. He only has, not even that many fights, but because the way they're marketing him, putting him on TV, doing network TV, it's you get to see him for free, and then that buzz starts building. You start getting to know you got a fighter you can follow. Not just Julio Cesar Chavez is fighting on pay-per-view today. All right, let's watch him. Wow, he's an amazing fighter. But there was like 20 guys that were coming up on the undercard you'd never seen, or you didn't even get to see. You only seen the pay-per-view fight. Now you got Fox, you got FS1. So my fight's main event FS1 leading into the pay-per-view fight. So now whoever's fighting on the FS1 fight, everybody's going to get to see free until now you got to buy the pay-per-view. So the FS1 fight, probably the majority of the people are going to see that and then go, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't think I want to pay for that, man. I already seen some good fights.
Yeah.
No,
Let's
everyone
go to
will
dinner.
pay for it.
Let's go to
FS1,
dinner.
You talk about like the sport being the wild, wild west. We talk a little bit about Devin Haney, who actually spars with Mayweather. You're one of the few people that got to throw punches at that dude. I mean, what did you think? Like
Busted his lip.
there you go. What do you think though that did for the sport with McGregor stepping in there and like, do you think that was good overall or kind of iffy overall?
It was good for boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Exposure,
great.
right?
It was great for boxing
Yeah.
because, there's always that battle. Oh, who will win, MMA or boxing? But it's just two different worlds, man.
It is, yeah.
You throw Mayweather in the cage, he's not going to know what to do, no
Yeah,
matter
I
how
feel
much
like-
he trains.
Shouldn't it be like a 1-for-1?
Yeah.
Like you got to get in the
a
octagon
tiebreaker,
too. Just 'cause,
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't do both, it doesn't really tell you anything, right?
But if Mayweather gets in there, I think it'll be a quicker payday for him.
yeah, I think so.
Because it'll be like, just take me down. All right.
Yeah, arm to arm, you're done. 10
I'm
seconds.
good. But no, I mean it's two different worlds, and the technique's just way different. You know, boxers are like sharpshooters, like a sniper. And you got a sniper sitting up there, and you got a bunch of army guys coming at you. You're just gonna be picking them off. That's the way boxing is with MMA. But now you put a sniper down there with them, and you're gonna get run over.
Yeah.
It's different. So, I mean, it was great, like I said, for boxing because there was always that animosity. Oh, what's better, boxing or this, or MMA guy will beat this guy, or boxing. But it vice versa. Wherever you go, I mean, you're just better at your craft at where you're at. So, not saying McGregor could have caught him with a shot. Caught him, never know. But he got paid.
Oh, yeah, they both got
There's
paid.
money out there. Take me inside the mind of when you walk into an arena. You got the music blaring, whatever song it is you choose. But I always want to know what it's like for a fighter, because I know as a fan or as a press person, you can't really get up and cheer. But I'm amped up, and I'm not fighting. So for you, take me through that moment as you walk into a packed crowd and then you're going in the ring. Like what goes on in your head?
Oh man, you're just like your hair stand up. You're all sweaty. You're like pumped up, and you're just like, man. You just can't wait. You're anxious to get out there and make it happen, but at the same time, you're so anxious. You're just like, okay, I gotta relax because, I'm gotta be focused still. But you just, like, for me, I start heading out to that tunnel. I literally want to run to the ring and jump in there. That's the way
we
I
want
am.
to see that. That'd be
I
fun
want
to
to run
watch.
in there. That's what I did my pro debut, and I'm turned around, and I'm like,
Your whole
hey,
camp's
where
like,
you guys at? And they're like barely coming out of the tunnel. But yeah, I mean, I just get that feeling. You just hear that crowd just roaring, and it's, I mean, MMA guys can tell you this, boxers can tell you this. It's like nothing else because you're in the center, and everybody's up on you, and you just hear just raw. You can feel it in the mat, and man, it's incredible. It's incredible. The closest thing I could say, probably like feeling wise, like, without the emotion, is probably watching your child be born. Like, where you're like all excited, like, oh man, oh. But without being like, oh man, and start crying and stuff. Because I was a crybaby when my children were born. I'm not gonna lie.
That's understandable, man. That is, I have 2 kids, and I tell you, like, I tell new parents, the second you see them, the like concoction of emotions and fear and stress and love, it hits you all like a ton of bricks.
I almost passed out.
Yeah,
My first child. doctor told me, hey, sit down. I'm not going to help you. I got a baby to deliver. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. I did the same thing. They were like, oh, we got, we can see the head. And I was just like, oh, whoa. Like, I feel like dizzy right now because it just hits you like crazy.
I think I was breathing like my wife, like doing the... Yeah,
that's hilarious,
cool.
dude. I didn't even know we were going to go down that road. I like it.
Yeah.
What about, like, I know you're a Bay Area guy, and we've followed you the whole time because of that as well, but, like, what are some of your teams? I know you saw a Raiders poster out there. You got a little excited. So, like, are you still a big Raider fan? I know you live in Vegas, so what do you think of the team moving? Things like that.
I'm excited, man.
Yeah,
Come to Vegas. Following me now. Nah, I'm a big Raiders fan. I love the Raiders. I'm excited we got Gruden back, and wherever they go, I'm going to be a fan. I love the Raiders. I'm an Oakland fan, so I watch the A's a bit here and there. I'm not too much into baseball. I'm the type of guy I like to play it, but it's hard for me to sit and watch. But, Bay Area sports, man.
Yeah, so you're pumped on the Raiders going to Vegas. Yep. You're like more Raider Nation than I would say, because there's like Oakland Raider fans and Raider Nation fans. The Raider Nation fans are down no matter where they go, no matter where they play. Oakland fans are kind of pissed.
Oh, it is sad because it's not going to be like the way it is in Oakland over there, like with the tailgates.
The tailgating
the tailgate is probably the best part. I mean, most guys go into a Raider game and don't even watch it because they're gassed out, drunk. Like, man, I'm just going to take a nap right here on the chair. But I mean, it's incredible. I think going to a Raider game is just a whole different experience for some. If they've never been to a Raider game. Like, even if you're not a Raider fan, just go for the experience and try it out. You'd just be like, wow. Now I know why these Raider fans are so, like,
just
juiced up and all excited
amped.
because just the way everybody is. I mean, it's like one big barbecue party out there.
And they come from everywhere, right? Like, if you've been to an airport anywhere near a Raider game, it's just full of silver and black. I mean, they're traveling. They're going to make Vegas a lot of fun on game days.
Oh, it's going to make fun for every team, man. Shoot,
yeah.
Every team that the Raiders play there, it's like a vacation for them to go watch their team.
Yeah, take a week out of it.
A whole week tailgate party, out in the casinos. They'll just watch the house, don't bet it.
Has there been a sporting event that kind of got your heads, your hair standing, like you mentioned when you are out there, you're the guy. But where's there an event you've been to that, wow, I'm at whatever event. This is really, really cool.
Yeah, at the Olympics, I was watching the guys in the curling.
Yeah.
Whoa, no, I'm just
curling. We work late nights in TV, so like you come home at 2 a.m. and that's like what's on live. And so I've watched some curling, man.
Man, if I could move my arms as fast as those guys sweep, oh, dude, I'll be like a Sugar Ray Leonard, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, but shoot. Probably I have to say the Raiders, man, when they went to Super Bowl, was it 2000?
It was with the
2002?
They lost the Bucks.
Against the Bucks. Oh, man, I was so pumped up and all excited, and then I was like, "Come on, Jerry, go and catch it!"
That was a tough.
Because they had Gruden. Bucks had Gruden, so they had
all
the whole playbook, man. They had no chance.
Yeah, that was probably one of like my most memorable games I watched and was like all pumped up about. Come on, Raiders in the Super Bowl. Shoot.
That was in San Diego, too.
Yeah,
that was in California, even. That's brutal, man. All right, so September 28th. What can we expect to see? One last big plug. Like, what are you expecting out of your opponent? Do you think too much about what he's going to do? Do you watch a lot of film? Or do you go kind of more instinct-wise? Like, how are you going to handle this?
What I do with the opponent is I break him down. I study him, watch all his films, how he moves and stuff, what he likes to do, make his mistakes, the bad habits that he has that I could capitalize on. I start building my game plan around that. And then also, too, just working your fundamentals, sticking on your game plan's the most important part. So, watching this guy, he's kind of real awkward, switches up, throws punches from weird angles and stuff like that. And those are always the tough guys to fight because they have, like, no rhythm. They're, like, all over the place, and punches come from, you're, like, blindsided with shots. So, right now we're working on just building that game plan for him where the way he moves and the way he comes in and comes off balance is just firing those shots, man, just countering, timing them right on the right button, and just making sure everyth's sharp right now. All my fundamentals, my boxing skills, because I am gonna have to use a lot of boxing with this guy because I'm gonna have to run him into stuff. I'm gonna have to line him up, box him, use my jab, run him into shots because of the way he moves and stuff. So, I mean, shoot, that's what we're building around the game plan right now. And just as we watch and just keep watching, every time you watch more film on him over and over, you start spotting things out, like, oh, well, look at this and look at that. Well, maybe this, or look at, he don't like this. He got touched right there. He don't like that. So, you start adding things in, and then by the time you know it, man, you're just ready to go, because with that repetition of sparring and everything and what you're working on, that's the one key, though, is in sparring, you got to work on your game plan. Some guys want to go and just look good and bang away and do this and that, and man, I'm feeling great. But at the same time, you got to work on your game plan, what you're getting ready for, to be able to execute.
Interesting. All right, man. September 28th. FS1. Watch it. Barry guy. Donating portions of his proceeds to the Gilroy shooting victims. Best dude out here, man. Everyone should be rooting for the Ghost. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you,
we're going to
man.
definitely check you out.
Thank you, man.
So interesting to hear from the Ghost, who's now 36 years old. And one of the things that I used to marvel at when he would fight, when he was in his prime or when he fought Mayweather, is he was known as a high volume puncher. Like, he would throw 100 punches around. If you have any boxing experience, you just go stand in the corner and throw 100 punches in a 3-minute window and just see how tired you are.
Yeah, you'd be gassed.
It's exhausting to throw 100 punches, especially when somebody is also throwing punches back at your face.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just one thing to just go do this. That's hard enough, just standing there to throw 100 punches. But so I'll be curious to see what he looks like. I know he's going to be in great shape despite the efforts by Chris Alvarez to feed him junk food while he was here. I leave for a few days on the podcast, and it all just, come on.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things we've experienced here is like when double champ, Bellator champion Ryan Bader came in, told us all about what he has to go through to maintain his diet, drop weight before fights. Devin Haney told us all about that. So the funniest thing that happened is, usually when we bring these guys in, the first thing you and I offer them is water.
Right.
Because we know that's pretty much all they can consume.
Well, it's also our budget.
That's all we
pretty
can
much
afford.
what we can. It's what they can consume. It's what they can have, and what we can afford. Yes.
But the funniest thing is, we went in the break room. I got the Ghost some water, and then Alvy has a bag of Cheez-Its, and he's like, "Want a Cheez-It?" And he's like, "No, I can't have Cheez-Its."
Yeah, I'm training for a fight.
So he has to avoid the junk food, even when it's put in his face. I thought that was really funny. Another really cool thing: the Ghost, this guy does some broadcasting. He's going to be a great broadcaster, much like Andre Ward, another great Bay Area fighter / broadcaster. We had so much fun doing this podcast that afterwards he came to the sports department and we just hung out and talked and just shot the breeze, and it was really funny. At one point he goes, "Man, why did we stop recording?" We talked for 2 hours. We went over all this stuff.
Because nobody wants to listen to a 3-hour podcast. That's why.
But he wants to come back. We had a great time. And honestly, I really hope that he has a lot of success, because he's one of the nicest, coolest boxers that's come out of the Bay Area. And obviously it's really scary, everything that his family went through with the Gilroy Garlic Festival shooting. So props to him. Props to him raising the money for the victims of the shooting. And we'll see. Staples Center. FS1, you can watch it on regular TV. Don't even have to buy anything.
Well, and at 36 to get back into the ring, starting to get up there in years. And I hope he's got his quickness and the punching power and the high volume. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see what he's got.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we come back, I think by the time we finish this, the A's and Giants will probably have clinched this Meatball Madness bet. So it's very likely that the next podcast we do will be Larry eating 24 inches of meatball sub while we recount the A's and Giants' many successes and failures of the 2019 baseball season.
Well, are you going to get Joey Chestnut in here to coach me up?
We are going to reach out, and he has said that he will come on.
Oh, he did say that already?
I talked to him after he won the Nathan's contest.
Okay.
So yeah. We'll see if he comes on.
All right.
I mean, it's going to be something we're going to have to fit it into his schedule, in our schedule, and into your stomach.
Okay. How can people... Well, they're already listening to the podcast.
You can watch it.
They can watch it?
They can watch
How?
it on YouTube or abc7news.com/withauthority. You can subscribe. You should definitely subscribe, because you don't want to miss Larry stuffing his face with meatballs. iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Also Google Play.
Excellent. I think that wraps it up then.
I think so. Puncher's chance.
Aloha! With authority!